Crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card, which I'm calling a 4-step card. This is actually take 2. I got myself so confused with the first take that I just had to start again. So apologies for that. Now, 4-step card, what happens is, as you open it, there's 4 steps there. Okay, isn't that great? I saw this online and I saw it as a baby card, and I found templates, but I couldn't quite get to grips how it was actually done until I did last week's card, which was this one, which was based on, I cased a card from Iced Images, and she had done those 3 steps, and once I'd made it I obviously found out how it's done, so I thought, well, it can't be that difficult for me to work out how to do 4 steps. I've made mine quite a bit smaller. Okay, this one was a 6x6, this is 5x5. I will still put this one in a 6x6 envelope because it does still have the quite a bit of bulk there to it. Okay, this is what a 6x6 envelope looks like. Okay, so it doesn't look silly in there. Alright, it's spare room, but I would certainly be happy sending that as a 6x6. If you've got 5x5s and it goes in, then go for it. Anyway, I'm going to start off by telling you the card pieces that you're going to need. Oh, by the way, the reason I wanted to make this card was because I wanted to fill out the back here. Whereas this one, I did try it with this one, but I came to the conclusion this is just too big to do it to. Although now that I've done that, I might revisit this again. Okay, so that's on the outside of the card. But I wanted to get mine covered in, which is what I've done. And that's all covered. It means that I have that V there, and it also means that this piece here is only attached by this one here, but I really don't see that that's going to be a problem. You open up the card and it's not like it's flapping or getting in the way or anything. So yeah, great baby card, or if you want to send somebody's name, like if I wanted one for my grandson, it would be Jack, so that would fit in nicely. Or if you're super duper clever and work out how you do a 5-step or a 6-step, it's possible, but I've done my bit, 4 steps, and that's it. So let me tell you the card pieces that we're going to be needing. I'm changing my colour scheme. The bit that needs to be cut I'm going to do actually on a piece of white, so you can see what I'm doing, just like I did last week. My bit I've actually done ahead of time. So the card pieces that you're going to need, as I say, this is take 2, so don't take any notice of these score lines. So this piece, Old Olive, measures 5 inches by 7.5 inches, and the inches suits everybody. I will try and work out what the metric measurements are and put them in the box below. And then you need 2 pieces that measure 5 inches by 6 5/8 inches. You need 2 pieces of Whisper White, which measure 4 3/4 inches by 4 3/4 inches. Then you need 2 pieces that measure 4 3/4 inches by 1 inch. And then 2 pieces that measure 3.5 inches by 1 inch. And then 2 pieces that measure 2 1/4 inches by 1 inch. And then 6 that measure 1 inch by 1 inch. And then you will also need some designer series paper, and I'm using 2 designs. These 2 pieces need to measure 4 5/8 inches by 4 5/8 inches. These 2 should be 4 5/8 by 7/8. This should be 3 3/8 inches by 7/8. These 2 should be 2 1/8 inches by 7/8, and these 6 should be 7/8 by 7/8 inches. Then you'll need a scrap of old olive to do the letters coming down the stairs, and you need scrap whisper white for whatever images, sentiments that you want to do. Because I've changed the design of mine and I don't really know how it will work out on here, I've already stamped, coloured, die cut several different things for me to use, so that you don't have to spend your time waiting for me to be dithering about trying to decide what it is that I want to do. So the piece that I'm actually going to be working on, I think is that one. Yeah. Okay, so what you need to do first is you need to mark across here at 1¼ inches, 2½ inches and 3 1/4. No, 1¼ 2½, 3 3/4. Now, where's my ruler? No, it was here a moment ago because I was using it when I messed up. Right, here we go. Right, so across here I want to measure with a pencil. Right, I'll bring it down low to me so I don't have to put my head over. Right, so that's 1 1/4, 2 1/2, 3 3/4. And then across here, no, forget that. Mark your measurements down this side as well so that you can join your two lines up, or if you've got a T-ruler like this, you just need to put that against there and then just draw your line across. If you don't have one of these, it really is a good idea for things like this, and they really are very, very cheap on the internet. And then the 2½ mark. And then the 3/4 of the mark. Okay. When I was doing this, I was doing it using my scoring board, but I think I've worked out how to do it on my trimmer. So if you line your cardstock up on the horizontal side, let me just get my piece of paper here. I said to you the other day that there's nothing worse than being told measurements and then saying, oh, no, I don't mean that. I mean something else. Right, okay, so I'm lining this up at 1 1/4 inches, and I am going to score from the top down to 1 1/4 inches. I'm going to move this along to 2½ inches, and then I'm going to score from the top down to 2½ inches, and the 2½ inches will be your score line here. Now I'm going to move along to 3 3/4 inches. Now you are going to score from your 1 3/4 inch line down to 3 3/4. 1 1/4 line down to 3 3/4. Move this along to 5 inches and score from 2½ inches, which is the middle line, down to the bottom. 2½ inches down to the bottom. And then move that along to 6 6¼ inches, which is, on your trimmer you will find there's a little mark there in the brown. It's not the first mark, it's the second mark. Okay, so that's there. And you're only going to score from the last line down to the bottom. So that is 3 3/4 down to the bottom. 3 3/4 down to the bottom. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, that's probably easier to see on the back. I don't know whether you can see that or not, but you should have one score line down to your first pencil line from the top, another score line from the top of your cardstock down to the second pencil mark, and then one from your first pencil mark down to your last pencil mark. Then there should be one from your middle pencil mark down, right down to the base, and then you should have one from the last pencil mark down to the bottom. So really and truly, if you're looking at it, you should have little squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you should have little ones at the corner there. Okay, those are the 6 that you're going to be putting your little squares in. Okay, now you need to cut, and what we're going to do is, I'll put pencil marks on here because I'm not using this one. You're going to cut from 1 1/4 down to 3 3/4, and then on here you're going to cut from 2 1/2 to 5 inches, and then you're going to cut from 3 3/4 down to 6 1/4. Okay, so you're going to cut from there on the line, not where I'm drawing this squiggly line. Okay, so let's do that. So first of all, line your pencil mark up there, change your blade over to your cutting blade, and you are going to cut from 1 1/4 down to 3 3/4. Move along to 2 1/2, so you've got your 2 1/2 there, and you're going to cut from 2 1/2 down to 5. Lift up, move along to 3 3/4 mark, and then you are going to cut from 3 3/4 to 6 1/4. If you do this, if you're not sure exactly where you're doing this, cut a bit short rather than over, because you can always go back in with the paper snips afterwards to finish it off. Okay, so what you should finish up with now is a cut there, a cut there, and a cut there. What I think I might do, I've done this little sheet for myself, but I think that's possibly a bit confusing. So what I'll do is I'll do 2 sheets, one for the score lines and then one for the cut lines. I don't know how to put PDFs on my blog, but I can at least photograph them and put photographs on, so that if any of it is confusing, you can look at this and imagine you'd be able to print it off. Photograph, possibly. So it will be there for you. So my one is this one here that I've done. So what I'm going to do now is, first of all, I'm going to erase the pencil marks. Now first of all I put some up there because I was using my scoring board, which I found easier, I have to say. Right, but I still had these lines. There are sometimes I give you instructions where it may seem a little bit long-winded, but I tend to go for the way that I think is the easiest way, and that's not always the quickest. It doesn't take too much to confuse me nowadays, so I'm very aware of trying not to confuse when I do things. Okay, so there's that. Let's move these out of the way. Now what we need to do with this, see if I can get this right first time. The first fold needs to be a mountain fold, so that comes up. That one is a valley, so that's going to go in. Just push them very slightly. That one's a mountain, that's a valley. That's a mountain, that's a valley. This one's a mountain, that's a valley. Okay, and then you find them all coming over. And what I do before I actually push them right the way down, I make sure that that line folds over to that one, and I make sure this one folds over up here nicely. Okay, so take that one. Let's give that a squash down for the time being. And then that one, yep, that's going correctly as well. So now that we've done that, give it a little squash, then we can come in and do it properly with our bone folder. So first of all, we'll do this side. Obviously your stairs have got two sides to them. Just make sure you don't tear, as you're going in, don't tear the next stair, because there is a join there with it. And turn it over and do these folds. Might be easier if I use the pointed bit. Oh yes, much easier. Okay. There we go. So there's our stairs. Okay, the other bit you need to do, which I've forgotten about, largely because I've already done it, but let's pretend that I haven't, and that is with these two pieces, you need to score them at 1 1/4 inches. Somebody asked me a couple of weeks ago what is the reason for having the measurements over this side as well. And that is because when you've got something like this to do, if you had to measure it this side, okay, so that's 1 1/4 inches, as you put that down, you don't really have anything to hold on to, and you've got that one, but that's a hand, if you're right-handed, that's a hand you want to use to do your scoring. So with the measurements on the other side, you can line up at 1 1/4, hold on to all of this bit, and then you can do your scoring. Now that's okay for right-handed people. So what about left-handed people? If you're left-handed, can you let me know what you do? I imagine you have yours, you turn the board round the other way, do you? Imagine you must do. I don't know. My lefts and rights, it confuses me. So this one also you want to line up at 1 1/4, and then you score that as well. So if you're left-handed, can you let me know how you use a trimmer? Us right-handed people just take it for granted that everybody's right-handed, but we're not. You're not. No, we're not. Right, so score that. Right, I think, no, let's do our gluing first. So let me just get my pad. one of the reasons it has taken me so long to be able to do this as a video is because decorating this bit, all the projects that I saw, and they were all photographs, it was all about having one sheet to do this, which I have to agree, it does look nice, but it was too hit and miss to be able to explain it so that you get it right, from the point of view that they told you, the ones that I saw, told you how to get the template, and then you had to cut 1/8 of an inch off here and there and wherever, and I thought I really just didn't like that idea. So I experimented, did it like this, and I liked it. So I thought this is the way I'm going to go. I mean, I love card making, but I don't want it to be difficult. I like to be able to say to people, yes, you can do it. I have lots of beginners who are able to do cards that they would never have thought they could do, because I try and keep things straightforward. Okay, so just keep on adding these on. You can mix and match your designer series paper as much as you like. You may remember that I wasn't clever. Last week I used 3 different kinds for my card, but that was much bigger, and there was a lot more scope for doing 3 different sorts. Where I think for this card 2 is enough. You may think differently, of course. You may also decide that you prefer to have your little bits here wider than I have done, so you don't have so much green visible. Right, I think we can do 3 at a time here. Just speed things up a bit. Oops. So there's one in that corner there. One in the bottom corner. Oh no, let's move it out of the way, otherwise I'm going to put my hand straight on that wet glue. And if you're using a directional pattern like me, make sure you get it up the right way. The last thing you want are trees that are upside down. I don't know whether you heard, but our Whisper White cardstock has had to be retired. Unfortunately, the company that makes it has had to close. It is being replaced by another white cardstock, which is every bit as good as Whisper White. It's a very slight difference in colour, but very close. And Stampin' Up are calling it Basic White, so that fits in with Basic Black and Basic Grey. There we go. Right, so that looks right, doesn't it? I'm going to be putting the Xmas down there. One of these is going to have these 2 on, one back, one front. Now, as far as signing your card is concerned, you could either write on the back there, or instead of putting a sentiment there, you could put like a fancy white shape there and write in there. I think I'd probably write on the back. In fact, I might even put a white fancy shape on the back, so that when the card is standing up, you can't see the handwritten bit. Don't think that's quite straight, is it? I think that's okay now. And then we're going to put one on the front as well. If you wanted to decorate the back, you can do. But this is quite a weighty card as it is. Nope. Yep, that's better. Right, now we're going to stick the easy one first, and that's this one here. And before I say anything, I'm just double checking. Right. So all of this needs to be glued to attach to all of that. That's on the inside. Okay, so that's the right way up. So what you need to do is line that up against the fold in there. And make sure the top and bottom line up as well. And close it to make sure that you've got that in as far as it will go, but not too far. Okay, so that's how your card is going to be closing. You see, that's what I wanted to get rid of. Okay, so what we need to do now is to adhere that there. Now the reason this bit is floating is because we've only got that to stick this onto. But the reason it stays in place is because we're going to make all this stuck onto it as well. Okay, so we need glue on here and that little bit there. Okay, so fingers crossed here. You have no idea how many times I went through doing this until I actually got it right. But I hope you agree with me that it really is worth it. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit the long side first. Okay, so the fold has got to come onto this one here. Make sure that goes up right into the corner there. Then that one looks like it's coming up too far, so I'm going to have to push it down a little bit. Right, now that should open, so that folds in there. Okay, work with this while it is still wet, so that if you need to manoeuvre, you can do. Now what I found, in fact it's happened here, I think, has it? Yes, it has. But this time I think I'm going to leave it, unless I did it off that side. What I found with my cards This one wasn't so bad. But can you see I've got a little overlap there? On this one, I've got a bigger overlap. You see that bit there? Now what I did on this one, I was able to put it in my trimmer and cut that bit off, and it still lines up okay, it still closes properly. But if I put that through my trimmer, you see the back is going to finish up a lot. See if you can see that. The back is going to finish up a lot shorter. So I'm going to leave mine. What I could do is I could slice that bit off, and then I could slice some off the front there. But with my layers on it, I'm not going to. I'm happy with that, I don't mind. And that is finishing up as 5 1/8 inches. That's interesting. Okay. But as you can see, that does float. But because it's all stuck all over here, it's not going anywhere. Right, so I'll show you all the bits and pieces that I've prepared ahead of time. Okay, so I've got my snowman. I've got some Happy Christmas. And I've got Joy to the World. As you can see, I've tried different ways of cutting them out. I have some trees. I have some these little birds, which is from the Quite Curvy stamp set. I can't remember where that's from. I found those lying around as well. There's more snowmen. Another bird. I've got some wreaths, trees. Sometimes I just use the big tree, which leaves me with that little one left over. So I can play around with all of these, and you're not going to have to watch me stamp them, cut them out and what have you. Let me just tell you, first of all, the stamp sets that I've used. These are the birds, and I've done them to look more like robins. And what I did to get the red breast, this time I've done it a very gentle red breast. I sponged the breast. Some of them you can see where I've gone over the edge with the my dauber, but I'm not unduly worried about that. But that's where this is from, Quite Curvy. This is on special promotion at the moment, and it will also be in the spring-summer catalogue. Obviously this is one I've been using so much for the trees, the snowman and my wreath, and this is Snow Wonder. This is Peace and Joy, which I've used Merry as it coming down the stairs, and this one I'm going to add on to You and Yours. If you didn't notice, let me see, it is small. Merry Xmas. So what I'm going to do is Merry Xmas to You and Yours. It's not going to fit on there, but there are other messages that this one has, which I think is pretty good. And the nice thing about it is, because it's solid, it's very easy just to cut around that edge. No die cutting on that one. Okay, so that's Peace and Joy. It does have some dies with it which cut these, and they have 3 different layers to them. I hope they get carried forward. I should have checked actually. And this one, Yuletide Pastures, I've done Joy to the World and Happy Christmas. And as you can see from the images, they are, let's say, not solid. It's not that I haven't stamped them very well. Okay. And the dies that I've used, well, let's leave those because I don't know which sentiments I'm going to do yet. Right. For the snowman and the trees and the wreath, I've used Snow Time, which goes with that stamp set. For the birds, I've used these. Oh, that's where that die cut came from. Yeah, okay. So this is called Curvy, and it goes with the Quite Curvy stamp set. That's the one that will be available in this new catalogue. And it's Playful Alphabet that I've used to do the Xmas. Okay, so I'll be die cutting that in a jiffy. In fact, shall I do that first? I don't think it'll affect my decision about how I'm going to decorate my card, but it might just. Okay, so if you didn't see my video last week, I explained that I have a magnetic plate on the Stampin' Up ones that they've withdrawn. They sent me a new one ages ago, but I didn't use it because I wasn't sure whether they'd be asking for it back or not, and they're not, so I've decided to use it, but I'm only going to use it for my videos because I really struggle not having a Xmas, not having a magnetic plate, and X. Oh, there we go. Alright, so that's Xmas. And as well as the alphabet, you get quite a few bits and pieces with this one. Okay, so you get all your numbers and you get these as well. Okay, so that's that. I have to say this cut and emboss is absolutely brilliant for the die cutting. Let's pop those back over there. Let's get myself something to pick these up with. Let's get rid of that bit. I don't think I'm going to need my machine anymore, unless of course I change my mind about what I'm decorating my card with. I can't imagine that I'm missing anything with the amount that I've done. Right, okay. So let's do this. Your card does lay flat, or at least it would do if there wasn't so much creasing in there. In fact, what I'm going to do before I put them on, I'm going to paint them with my Wink of Stella rather than trying to do it afterwards, which is what I normally do. And it's so much easier to do it beforehand. Thing is, if you do it once you've adhered it onto your card, you have to be so careful how you're doing it. I know because I've done it so many times, left it too late. Okay. If you don't like the let's put a bit more glue on that bit. If you don't like the Xmas actually being on the front of the steps, there's no reason why you couldn't put it down here. I just rather like the idea of it coming down the stairs. I also have an idea for a birthday card with this, using this design as well. I'll try and show you that soon. That's it. The reason I was a bit concerned about the images that I've chosen for this is because the designer series paper here is really quite busy. I'm hoping to be able to use another Santa, not a Santa, a snowman. There we go, so that's straight. There we go. Okay, so my idea is, oh that's okay, he sits, doesn't he? And I think the trees really will disappear. So I thought maybe a wreath would be better. Could leave it just those two, couldn't I? Let's see what else I'm going to do. I did decide I'm not going to put any more layers onto the sentiments. Because they're nice fancy ones and it's going on to, the background shows up really nice and easily. So should we have another snowman here? Joy to the world. And how about some trees behind him? There we go, that would be alright, wouldn't it? I think that works. Okay, let's do that one. On the outside I will use some dimensionals that I never do on the inside of my cards. But we need that first. So whereabouts are you going? There we go, so straight. He is now. And then, do we want to pop him over that? Yes, why not? And then what I thought was maybe a bird on there. There's 3 different birds. I've only got one of that sort. So how about, doesn't go very easily, going down over the bump. Not to worry. It's better on the front because then I can use dimensionals. There we go. That's good. I like that. Okay. I've still got to do my stamps for there as well. So for the front we'll also have a snowman. What colour did we use? Green hat, red scarf. Okay, green and green. You could do some more. So which Merry Christmas do you want? I think I prefer the round one. So let's do that in the same direction as did the other one. So that's tree first. Oh, I said I was going to do dimensionals, didn't I? Okay, well that's alright, the trees are at the back. We'll do the snowman on dimensionals, which I've got sitting over here. I'm just going to cut two very thin ones for his arms and his legs. So that's 4 actually, not 2. I think I've done these possibly a bit too fat. Let's have a look. That one worked. That one worked. This one looks ultra skinny. Oh, that's right. I have one little one in there as well. Yeah, I know an American demonstrator, and she uses the pick-me-up tool to remove the backings of her dimensionals. She just absolutely whizzes through it. I tried doing it, but I don't know, I'm obviously not getting the right sort of pressure to do it. Maybe I should just practice a bit more. Right, okay. Yep, that's good. And the sentiment, how do we want that on? I didn't really leave enough room there, did I? Oh, that'll be right, as long as I pop it straight down. Okay. And then I could put the bird up on the dimensional there. There we go, is that straight? Yes. Okay. Let's have one little bird. There we go. Do we want one on the other side as well, as if they're chatting? Yes, we do. That looks nice. There we go. Right, so all we need to do now is a little bit of stamping for the Mary. Oh, didn't put anything in there in the end, did I? That's 3 snowmen, hopefully all different colours. No, nearly different colours. It's got the same colour scarf, but that's okay. And we're going to have one of these up here. Okay. Got a scrap here. And I think I want green, don't I? Let's see what green looks like first. Oh, that's alright. It's quite dark, isn't it? Not quite as dark as black. Make sure I get plenty of it. Oh, not much ink on that end, is there? That's good. Okay. Let's see how nice and easy this is to cut out. Obviously the shorter they are, easier. And you could obviously leave a white gap all the way around if you wanted. There we go. Rather than keep having a go at trying to get that little bit of white off and finishing up with a very wonky line, I'm just going to that's it. Dip that into my ink. That's good. Okay, so there's a little tip for you. What did I do with Mary? Oh, that's it. Don't need it on that one, but just in case it comes up darker or something as it dries. I want both to be the same. There we go. Now that one, yes, that's good. That looked nice. Leave that one back. Get this. Any scrap paper. Just dab that off a bit because I put far too much on. and Xmas. Oh no, Merry, wasn't it? Pop that in the middle. And there we go. That's today's project. And that's with steps closed in at the back. I'm so pleased with that. In fact, to do something else I did on the other one that I haven't done on here, and that is I put some snowflakes on the inside, which you could do. I'm not sure what I'd put on there, so this one. So no, I'm happy with this. Really very, very pleased with this. So what do you think? You're going to give this one a go? It's beautiful, it really is. Oh, that's that rubbing against there. That's what I can hear. So many thanks for joining me today. If you have any comments or any questions, please leave them in the box below the video. I'm always very happy to help you, very happy to answer your questions. I will list in the box below the video all the products that I've used, product codes, a link to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop, and of course all the measurements and the score lines, and I will try and do that thing so I can photograph it to make life nice and easy for you. If you've enjoyed my video, please click on the subscribe button down there in the bottom right hand corner, and then on the bell so that you get a notification each time I upload a new video, and you'll get a notification for it. When you want to open the box below the video, what you need to do is underneath the if I've got my picture here, underneath the video there's like 2 or 3 lines of writing. I've lost it now, haven't I? There's like 2 or 3 lines of writing, then it says show more. So if you click on that, that'll open up the box. If you're watching on a mobile phone or something, on the right hand side there'll be a little down arrow. So you just need to click on that. So many thanks for joining me today. Look forward to seeing you next time. In the meantime, please take care, stay safe, happy crafting. Cheerio.